So, for back of my story yesterday, the first question that I'm going to answer is for Jasper, and it's around the time and the money investment required to get started in property. Obviously, some people don't want to spend a lot of time in it if they have day jobs, businesses, things to run. Then we'll cover that first. So let's get into it. So, in terms of money and time investment to get started in property properly, then it's gonna vary for every person. It's gonna be very variable depending on the strategy which you take and what you're currently doing with your life and your day job and your business and whatever else. So I would say if you are starting from scratch, you need a strategy. You need to know exactly which way you're going, what direction you're going in. But if you're going to start with flipping projects, then it's going to be a little bit more time heavy than just buying buildings. If you're just buying something to sit on it, then it's just an asset buy. You can manage those buildings, which will have a little bit more time input than, say, passing it to a management agent or someone like that. But generally, buying buildings that are already tenanted and are ready to be either ready to be let or already let, that's probably the most time effective way to invest in property and be pretty hands off. If you want to get into things from a more active involvement in your property journey, then it might be that you start buying to renovate or trading deals. You might start some creative strategies like short-term accommodation. You might start flat conversions. There's a whole raft. You might start doing HMOs. So all of those sorts of things in terms of like the development side might be a little bit more time heavy. So if you're going into it to do works, it's going to be a little bit more time heavy, but you can make those things a lot more passive. You can have contracts with a contractor. You can have a project manager on it that runs it for you. You can have an architect that acts as project manager and sort of administrates contracts between you and the contractor. And then it is generally quite hands off. You can be away from the projects and away from the sites. You don't really need to visit sites because the architect and the PM will do that as part of the evaluation process. So effectively, you're just moving money. Then you're going to be sat, wherever you want to be sat, moving money around, providing that the work that you've requested to be done is being done. So yeah, I guess property can be quite light touch, and we do see lots of people sitting on beaches and managing their property portfolios. So you've got a bunch of different options depending on what strategy you want to go for. In terms of investment, again, super varied. If you're going to be buying a block of 20 flats, then you're going to need a bigger deposit, and you're going to be paying 25 to 30%. It'd probably be on a commercial mortgage for that sort of number of units. So you're going to need 25 to 30% deposit to put down on those block of flats. If you've got a development deal, that's also cash heavy, and you'll be putting cash into it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your cash. So you can bring on investors, you can bring on partners, you can use family and friends as long as you've got contracts with them. And you can use loans, bridging loans and things like that. So it really, really depends on what direction you want to go, what kind of buildings you want to buy, how much time input you want to put into it. So I would say strategy is the most important to kind of understand where you want to go. But time can be anything from a couple of hours a week to full time, 40, 50 hours a week. I mean, I know developers that are 60, 70 hours a week, and I wouldn't advocate that, but you definitely can have that sort of time input. And in terms of cash input, then again, you could do a rent to SA and probably spend like 8 to 10 grand and get in. Or you could start sourcing deals and selling them and get in with virtually nothing. But I would say you probably want like a 30 to 50k budget as kind of like a relatively low point of entry for any development stuff or any buy and hold stuff. So yeah, hope that's helpful, mate.